Yeah, like I just hit the buttons and then basically I just make you, I allow you to make a fool of yourself and then I say.
Okay, how about this?
What? How's it go?
Go Esports Podcast. theScore Esports. Go Esports Podcast.
Head to.
Go Esports Podcast. Listen to theScore Esports Podcast.
I just killed his mic. He's done.
That was
Something.
It's morphin' time.
It's morphing time.
That's what they
All
said.
right, well, morph into this intro, will you? Let's see what you got today.
All right, I'm morphing into it. Guys, welcome back, or perhaps for the first time, welcome to the Score Esports Podcast. As you may or may not know, we just got off the Skype with Weldon Green, who is currently on the coaching staff for G2 Esports. And I just wanted to give him a shout out. He was a great guest. We had a lot of fun talking to him. And also shout out to his new podcast. It's called The Weldon Green Podcast, and it is on SoundCloud.
Look at that photo of him. What a dapper man.
that's a good
Strikingly
photo.
handsome and smart, eh?
Now, okay, as much as you really like Weldon, as much as Ryan is like obsessed with his new life coach right now, Weldon Green.
life coach.
We do have an awesome second guest coming up. Okay, guys, a long time ago, Marie Antoinette allegedly uttered the phrase "Let them eat cake." Well, today on the Score Esports Podcast, we'll be doing her one better because we've got Canada's own Tristan Côté-Lalumière. I hope I said that correctly, aka Cake, on the show. Cake, welcome.
Hey, what's up? Thanks.
Did
for
I
having
butcher
me.
your name, man? Did I butcher your name?
It was pretty decent.
Hey,
Okay.
it should be better than pretty decent. Colin is Canadian.
Yeah.
As I say, Tristan hails from the beautiful city of Montreal. I am a Toronto/Hamilton guy. My French is terrible, so I do apologize for that. You may have previously known Cake as Cake, and the former AD carry for Tainted Minds in League of Legends OPL. Now, Cake, I want to start at the beginning with you. You're a young guy. You're 22 years old, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, you're a young guy. You've done a lot in League of Legends in your short time in the scene, and I just wanted to get a sense of like how you started, how this whole journey began for you.
I started playing ADC. I played League in Season 1, but I only got good around maybe Season 4.
How old were you?
I was just about to ask.
How old were you in season 1?
Damn, I was still in high school, so probably like, I'd say 14, 15?
Hey, all right.
Okay.
So
Or
just
That was
remember,
it.
most
16,
of those
I mean.
kids that are stomping on you in solo queue are younger than you guys.
I already knew that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so got really good in Season 4. Started grinding the ladder, got really high from Season 4 to like Season 6, 7. I got like top 10 like a few times pretty much every season. Never really played any CS or LCS. I was able to like sub for LCS teams like in scrims and get good practice and like good experience, but I never actually signed a contract before Tainted Minds, which was in November. So yeah, that's pretty much about
November
me.
of 2016.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So Tristan, I guess like a lot of people who are playing League of Legends, you're working your way up. You reached the challenger level. Like, was that the highest point for you? Were you absolutely ecstatic that you've made it that far and felt like the anything could come your way?
At first, yeah, because I didn't think I was good enough. Like from Season 1 to like Season 3, I was okay at the game, but I wasn't anywhere close to like playing with pro players like every day. But like once you start grinding the ladder and like going really, really high up and like playing with pros literally every day and like learning from them, you definitely feel like you can like achieve something.
Now, how did you end up actually getting hooked up with Tainted Minds? Like, did you go to them or did they find you because of your performance in solo queue?
They contacted me. I did scrims with Inero, which was meant to be the Tainted Minds coach, and which he was. I scrimmed under his coaching for a few scrims on another team, and he wanted me on the roster since he was helping build the roster. So that's how I got hooked up. And then in November, I got offered a contract, and I signed to just leave in December.
And you made that big move to Australia.
Yeah.
Now, what part of Australia were you guys based in? I don't remember actually reading that.
Here Colin goes about Perth.
We were near Strathfield, near Bondi Beach, like really east, like Sydney, I guess.
Oh, so you were in New South Wales then?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a nice place. All right, my little Australian curiosity just had to satisfy it there.
No, that's great. And so Tristan, I guess for those of you who are listening who don't know how this chapter of your life went, it's right now in a spot of I guess disrepair to say the least. But I'd love to get there. But at first, I want to know, you're a young Canadian kid who travels all the way to Australia on your first pro contract. What's going through your head? What's it like when you first arrive?
I mean, it was pretty different than what we expected.
What were you expecting?
I mean, I was expecting maybe like in terms of the house and like just the gaming situation to be around even as like probably an ACS, so not like the best, but still like have everything I need to function.
So you weren't expecting like a Virtuous Pro team house? No?
I'm sorry. I didn't
Virtus
hear.
Pro.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
They've just got a ridiculous team house in.
No, I wasn't expecting like anything big.
All right,
just
so something
casual
modest.
stuff. Yeah.
And so you walk in there, first day, what do you see?
Pretty dirty. We don't have the computers. We don't have the internet. We don't have aircon. 3 things we were promised that would be ready at the house before we left like a few days ago from America. So yeah, it was pretty interesting. We scrimmed about 2 or 3 weeks at a net cafe because we had to do tryouts for a top and mid. And then after 2 and 3 weeks, we finally got computers which weren't the same model we were promised. And we finally got internet working for a few weeks. So we started scrimming at the house, but the house issue is still like extremely bad. Like I had to play solo queue like 14 to 16 hours a day and still no aircon. So pretty much 35 Celsius or something. So
Yeah,
it was,
winter, like our winter in Australia, our November, December, January is obviously their summer. We're talking, like it can get above 40 regularly Celsius, which is what, 90 Fahrenheit, something like that. Also, I think you need a computer to play League of Legends. I have to do some research on that, but I thought that you did.
Just through this entire experience, like for the first couple of weeks, how was your conversations or contact with like the Tainted Minds organization? Were they paying lip service about trying to get it done, or like kind of what was the situation there?
at first they were like making promises like this is going to be fixed by that date, but they would never reach their deadlines. And whichever way we communicated with them, was it through our manager? We communicated through our manager for the first maybe 2 weeks or something, and it wasn't working because like nothing would get fixed. And then we communicated directly with the org, and they would tell us to go through the manager, but every time we went through the manager, nothing would get fixed. So that's pretty much how the communication went down.
Yes, and of course, like I mean, you're right in the thick of it now. If you go to your Twitter feed right now, it's just not. It's a huge collection of just I guess what people are calling proofs, but just conversations between yourself, your coach, the management, the Tainted Minds representatives. It's a huge mess.
Well, to Ryan's point, Cake, you recently released a massive database that is hundreds and hundreds of screenshots of chat conversations and emails between yourself and other people on the team and the Tainted Minds organization.
Yep.
And what? Yep. And
He's so over it.
and that was quite a bomb. What is the thinking behind making all of that public out in the open for anyone to see?
For me, like I've been trying to solve the issues with Riot for over 3 months, with Riot OCE and with Tainted Minds for like so long. I've gone since the point I left, which is the middle of February. I haven't said anything, like for a full month. I was trying to solve everything privately with the help of a lawyer, but both sides, which is Riot OCE and Tainted Minds, didn't actually want to solve the problem. So, and since my contract is ending at the end of this year, I wouldn't be able to play next split. So pretty much the only way I can play next split is if I go public and something happens. So I pretty much didn't have a choice if I wanted my career to like continue this year.
Yeah, I guess for you it was do or die. It's if you're at the mercy of whatever's going on. If you want to play next year, it's a no-brainer. You have to try to do something. So going public, although risky, and I think it turned out in your favor because, I mean, I read all of this stuff and I wanted to go into it as like a neutral observer, right? Just look at Tainted Minds, look at yourself, read the stuff, and just try to make a conclusion of what's going on. And I'm sorry, but when TM is saying stuff about like moving a TV is what caused the electricity power outs. Hold on. You can't move a TV from the living room to somewhere else, and you're going to blame the team for that? And also, they had 7 PCs and a fridge. Shame on you guys, professional video game players needing 7 computers and a fridge. I'm sorry. I couldn't help but look at it from your point of view because I found it so frustrating. I can't imagine what it's like to be in your shoes.
Yeah, and even 7 PCs, like both our coach and our manager were promised PCs in their contract and actually never got them. So it's only 5 PCs.
Yes.
Well, speaking of contracts, can you just clear something up for me? Because this whole situation gets really messy really fast. What exactly is your relationship at this moment in time with Tainted Minds?
I have legally terminated my contract. There was a different clause in my contract which allowed me to terminate, in which I did. The thing is, Tainted Minds doesn't recognize my termination as valid, so I'm stuck in the Riot database. And whenever I would give proof to Riot that my contract is actually terminated, they would just ignore me, or pretty much. So I'm stuck in the database, but I'm not related to Tainted Minds at the moment. If they wanted me to like still be under contract, they would sue me and like say you illegally breached your contract. But obviously, like they wouldn't do that because they know they would lose.
If another team hypothetically wanted to come to you and say, "Hey, we'd like you to be a part of our organization," could that happen right now?
Yes, but they would have to go through Tainted Minds, even though I'm not affiliated with them, I guess. Because I'm in the database, so if they go directly through me, they could get accused of poaching. So, and Riot specifically told all the teams not to contact us because that would be like considered as poaching. So pretty much when I left for the next month or something, I couldn't get approached pretty much.
So you just said that Riot actually told other teams not to approach you because it would be considered poaching. How do you know that?
We've known it from contacting other teams in OCE and teams telling us, because me and Schroeder Ace and even Nick, which was our coach, we would have gotten on other teams in OCE like really rapidly.
So I mean, so you guys had you seeked out Riot to be like an arbitrator for this whole discussion, and I mean, with that said, how do you feel about Riot right now? The first time we contacted Riot was in early January, and from early January till middle of February, they just kept delaying stuff. And the head of Riot OCE, which is Daniel Ringland, he's a close friend, or he's a friend with excuse me. He's a friend with John McRae, which is the main investor in Tainted Minds. So every single decision he took was biased towards Tainted Minds, and it's been pretty clear to us since the start that like both of them had no intentions of like solving the issues or anything. So Riot pretty much hasn't done anything, even when we like basically like just asked for help, went to the studios to like fix things, but never did anything.
So it's been mostly Riot OCE that you've been dealing with, right? Has anybody from the main Riot office gotten in contact with you guys, or is it just this party at OCE?
Before I went public, we had contacts with Riot NA once because we reached out to them and they said, okay, we could do arbitration. So each party would pay a certain cost, and then the arbitration would hear everything and then take a decision. All the players were looking, and the manager and coach were looking to go through arbitration, but Tainted Minds declined. They didn't want to pay the cost, and they said it was like pretty much irrelevant. So it clearly shows that they didn't have any intention of like fixing the issues, because they have money and they're not ready to pay for arbitration. We don't have money pretty much, but we were still ready to pay.
So for you, what is the ideal resolution to this purgatory that you find yourself in?
Tainted Minds gets banned from OPL, which means I'm released from the database and I can play next split.
Simple as that.
Yep.
In reality, how are things going to move forward for you right now? You've said that you're sort of in a gridlock. What's the next step, if any?
I'm still allowed to play an ACS Open qualifier because you don't require to be sorry, to be in the database. So I could still play that, and I couldn't play an ACS though, an LCS.
Right. Now, as we said before, you're a 22-year-old guy. Unfortunately, this was your first experience signing a contract with a sort of, quote unquote, big team, legit team, a recognized team. If someone else, if another young player finds themselves in this kind of situation, not so much with the negative stuff that is alleged to have happened, but with getting their first team contract, what advice would you have for them?
I'd say read your contract really carefully and understand what it means and what wrong can happen with your contract. If you understand that, things are gonna be a lot easier if things go wrong. But if things go right, obviously, that's good.
I guess so. But the thing is, the way I feel about contracts is that everything, it would be nice if everything could be done in good faith, right? I tell you that this is what's going to happen. You're going to get computers, and then it happens. It would be nice if a place like Tainted Minds, I'm just saying, a contract is only there if you don't trust each other, and if there's a reason that it comes to something exactly like what Tristan's dealing with right now. And that's the truth. When you are going nitty gritty in the amendments of the contract and stuff like that, arguing about exactly what kind of RAM is in the computer. If Tristan just got his dream come true. He becomes a professional player. He thinks he's going down to Australia with a computer. Is that so much to ask? And then he's got to go through the nitty gritty, and himself and his coach grinding to, first of all, get the house, to sign the players that she wanted, and then just to get the computers. Meanwhile, they're playing in internet cafes and can't even get their groceries. I don't think it's too much to ask. And the fact that you've got to go nitty gritty with the contract, I can't understand how a team like Tainted Minds could put their reputation at hand, and which is all public, and it's completely gone the wrong way for them. Why couldn't they just be good dudes who gave you a computer, and started with that?
I think it's actually a problem that's more widespread through esports as a whole anyways. You get a lot of teams that are coming in, or a lot of organizations that are coming in trying to make either the quick buck or just being there's no regulations here, so we don't have to worry about living up to a standard that's already been set by other, real organizations.
Yeah.
Because this is not the first time this has happened. This is not even the first time this happened in the last a year or two. It's just this chain of kind of shit that keeps happening.
Yes, of course. But for just because it is Tristan's battle right now, right, with the whole Tainted Minds thing, I love his Twitter right now. Tristan,
It's flames. It's on fire. It's flames.
Yes. Right now, when are we getting more groceries? Response: a little bit of initiative goes a long way.
Savage.
How do you feel about that?
I don't know. We were all pretty pissed. We were like, "Is this really happening?" I remember we all turned because I don't think we were screaming at that time, so we just all turned around from our computers and looked at each other and "Is this really happening?"
Yeah.
It was just too stupid.
And here's another one. When they went public about, the notices of termination came as a complete surprise to Tainted Minds, especially after a win the day before, as if they provided you the materials and the house to get that win. That was just because you're really good qualified players that the coach sought out and got. Or does it? Do you chalk that win up to your living conditions?
Yeah, we didn't scrim for I didn't play League for pretty much 3 full weeks after that, before the win, and the fact that they say it was a surprise, it's so dumb because in early January, me, Shorter Race, and Inero, the coach, we all asked for buyouts. So how can you not think that we want to leave when we're literally asking for buyouts?
Right.
It's just so stupid.
Now, it is.
What a mess.
This is so bad.
It's fun. It's funny. Okay, the 3 of us or the 4 of us sitting here reading these out. Ryan going to your Twitter and reading things out verbatim. It is funny and it's astounding. And we're going.
But we're all in a terrible way.
Right. We're all sitting around going, "Oh, they had one garbage can and it was all these people and that it was 35 degrees. Imagine how bad that is." Ha ha ha. But for a 22-year-old guy, this is his first, foray. He's in not another country. He's in halfway around the world, another continent. You can't really go much farther unless the team house is in Antarctica. This must have been kind of terrifying on some level.
Definitely. I mean,
I would have called my mom.
You called your mom just before the show.
That's actually literally true.
I love my mom, yeah.
actually, at first the team morale wasn't that bad because, like, yeah, like situation was shit, but we were still like thinking, okay, Tainted Minds, even though like they're not like smart, but they're still gonna fix issues like down the run. Like we truly thought that. So we were still like, even though the condition was really bad, we were still like practicing our hardest. But it all came down to like when we stopped having internet, which was after week 1 of OPL, where like all the housing like problems just added up to like us not being able to play the game. So like before we could play the game and like still like see us progressing, and like even though situation was bad, like we could still improve. But when we stopped playing the game, it was literally like everyone staying in the house and just doing nothing. So that was like the most that was the time the morale was the worst in the team, I guess. But at first it wasn't that bad, even though the house was bad.
Yeah, and Tainted Minds have used in their public statement stuff like, this is standard practice in the esports industry. The use of an internet cafe used by other OPL teams was suggested. It's like, what was that internet cafe like anyway to scrim? Like, can you describe this place?
So we're pretty much not all sitting near each other because, I'm sorry. So yeah, we're not sitting near each other. We all have headset. We all have like the random gear. You have to plug everything and like unplug everything. And there's like so many loud people. It's unreal. Like it was, I think a Korean. Like we tried a Korean, a Chinese one, and like literally it's just like people screaming, playing Overwatch, like
Nice.
all over the place. Like
It's a professional environment.
Imagine trying to like do a legit scrim and like, you know, Ryan is sitting beside you in an internet cafe screaming on his far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we had like FPS issues and like lag issues depending on the cafe, so like it wasn't really.
Even just to follow up, hold on.
Yeah.
Them saying that the net cafes are like a normal thing to go to. Is that even true? Like, do any other teams practice there if they have other options?
The only other team that practiced there was the team that got kicked out of OPL, or that's selling X5, because they've ran into a lot of issues with their org as well. So that team has been practicing to one in the net cafe we had to go, but that's pretty much it.
That's like us saying we do work at a bar, so like the bar is our office, but like we just go there after. You know?
We should podcast from a bar next time, actually. It's a good idea.
Get out of here. Why do you want that? It's at least quiet in here.
That's
You're just
true.
talking about people yelling.
That's
and
true.
I need to be around a whole bunch of people that are playing Overwatch. So
Yeah, and I mean, drinking alcohol while doing a podcast, it just seems like an awful idea, right?
Yeah, awful
Right?
idea.
Yeah,
Awful
everyone
idea.
agree with that.
But now I got one more question for Tristan. Just because we're going on this whole, you need 12 hours of practice, right? And again, I'm coming always from the traditional sports side. You don't need to be practiced 12 hours a day. So I'm just saying, listen, Tristan, if I'm Tainted Minds, I might be able to say, listen, you could do it an hour a day. Why do you need 12 hours a day of practice? And this is a legit question.
I mean, for some players, like they need as much time as that to keep their level of play like at a high standard. And it's not only like, if, for example, I could play only 6 hours a day and still be good enough for OPL, like, as a professional gamer, you can't do that. Like, you have to put everything into it, because if you don't, you're not going to be good enough. And, like, the way you perform right now is going to affect your future opportunities. So if you don't put everything you got now, like, you're pretty much affecting your career in the long run.
And I guess that's a good point. People talk about traditional sports and when they get in mid-season form, right? And I guess because there is such competitive nature in these esports games that everybody is at their top form. So I guess you do need to play, multiple hours a day to stay sharp, right? To keep that level of play at mid-season, because everybody's grinding, everybody wants to get there. It's not like a pro season where, you meet your stride 8 weeks in.
Yeah, and like if you don't put the extra hours, like other people are going to put the extra hours in. So like you have to do it.
Now tell me this, Cake. So you have notified Tainted Minds that you terminated your contract and you're currently in sort of a limbo situation. But not everyone on the team did that. Some, correct me if I'm wrong here, decided to stay on with the organization.
Yeah, our top laner, which was Predit, decided to stay.
Why?
The reason,
Why?
I mean,
Is he a baby? Why?
I mean, he's a 17-year-old guy, and like it was his first experience, so he's just like pretty happy to play, even though like the conditions are really bad.
That's rough.
He
Real
wanted
rough.
to keep playing, and I don't think he had the confidence, like in his career, to just leave and find another team. I don't think he was confident in him being able to find another team, even though I think he would have gotten onto another team really easily.
Where is he
but
from?
I think it's just like he didn't want to take the risk, and he just wanted to like go the safe way.
Is he from Australia or like where is he from?
Yeah, he's from Australia.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. And I guess that makes it easier too. And for yourself, Tristan, you seem like you really got your head on your shoulders. That you're thinking about like the long run. You're thinking about, even though you're in the thick of this now, you're thinking about the next split and later on. And even for some young fella like the 17-year-old in Australia, you're still seeing the positive side. So I mean, clearly you're the example of the worst that can happen. But anybody else out there playing Challenger and just loving League of Legends, I mean, what do you have to say for the future? Is it still optimistic?
Yeah, I mean, in this specific scenarios, I think wildcards region have been have dropped the ball. But I think if Riot can like rectify the shot and just like get wildcards region better, I think overall like for future and up and coming player, there's going to be less case like this. So.
And if you had your time back, I mean, the thing is that right now you're on the map. You're coming out smelling like roses, as far as I'm concerned. Same thing with Fast Fee, and I see all these chat logs, and I think that you guys are really coming out looking good. If you had your time back, would you do anything differently?
Honestly, I don't think so. Like, I think we've followed every single procedure that we needed to. Like from the start to going public, and after going public, then yeah, maybe there's a few things here and there I would change, but overall, I don't think there's like anything we could have done differently. Like, it's understandable that like the org was shit, but what I don't understand is that Riot OCE has like completely dropped the ball on this matter. Like, that's what bothers me the most about it, because I understand orgs fucking players over. That's not like the first thing the first time it happened, but like. Riot not stepping in and like fixing the issues is the big matter right now.
Yeah, that's actually really concerning to me. Just across as League of Legends as a whole, Riot has generally been somewhat player favorable, right? I mean, like they've been pretty
Post-game
protectionist.
interviews.
Well, yeah. So they generally they try to do the best they can, or maybe not the best they can, but they try to. It seems like put the rights of players at least somewhere near the forefront. I mean, you can make the arguments for player unions and all that kind of shit, but. With this situation, they were basically just like, fuck it. Like, like they washed their hands of it. And I'm shocked that this has been, almost 2 weeks now, right? That this has been out?
Yep.
Yeah. So to not have a response from, like, Riot Esports and only having it coming down from, like, the OCE League is crazy.
Yeah, and they even announced publicly that they were going to investigate. Like 10 days ago, they announced, or 11 days, they announced that they would investigate and go and give us updates next week. And it's been 10 days now, so we're still waiting.
And I mean, I do know that to play devil's advocate here, like investigations do take some time. There's bureaucracy you have to go through with an organization the size. I know. I'm just playing devil's advocate a little bit here.
You got the button shirt.
But
I got you.
I know exactly. But I mean, you got to give them something. Like, again, this is like 5 guys' lives. Well, 7 guys' lives with the coach and manager.
They're all like young guys. Like, goddamn, 17 years old.
Somebody walk them through a contract. They can barely read.
No, but I mean,
seriously, if you gave me a contract at 17 years old, I wouldn't be able to do shit with it.
Well, do you read your like iTunes contract? Like, I should. I mean, I totally do. Apple, I 100% read it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's scary. Like it is scary to hear this stuff, and it's concerning for the future. The one thing I just want to really quickly ask Cake that we haven't touched on yet is just, do they owe you money?
They said, I mean, right now they don't owe me money. Like in terms of my contract, I still evaluate that like my damages from all this story is like pretty high in terms of money, but I'm not owed money. But the thing is, in Tainted Minds statement, they said that all the payments were paid on time. Yeah. But the thing is, I received my December's invoice probably a week ago.
Yeah, that's
so I don't think that's considered like on time.
Have you ever considered litigation on your part? Have you ever considered suing them?
Could you explain?
Exactly.
Have you ever
No, he hasn't.
have you ever considered lawyering up and actually suing Tainted Minds for damages or for fees owed?
Before going public, yeah. I mean, we can still consider it. Like, we consider the option of maybe crowdfunding or illegal actions, but it's still like the way Riot handles it is probably going to tell what we're going to do in the future. So if Riot does everything right, there shouldn't be a need for that. But if they don't, then we might consider that option.
Okay.
And Tristan, I gotta say, like, congratulations to you for standing up for this and doing it the way you did. You know, keeping it private until you felt the need to go public. I mean, that takes a lot of courage, especially, I mean, even at your age and looking after these younger guys in your team. You got the support of Monte Cristo. You got the support of the Beyond the Rift people. I think it took a lot of courage to do this. And I'd love to see you in the NALCS. I mean, you compared some of these OCE teams to, you know, like bottom 4 NALCS, and now you're back here in Canada. What's the plans for the future?
Surprise! He's Liquid's new ADC.
I don't know. Right now I'm just grinding solo queue, practicing, because pretty much haven't played. Like, before I got back here, I couldn't play League for pretty much 2 months, so my level of play like went down by a lot. So I'm just practicing hard and like playing as much as I can, solo queue, and just improving so I can find a team for next split. And no matter what happens, hopefully I'll find a team.
And one last thing, did you feel like having, you know, all these, you know, internet cafes, downtimes of internet, and like, you know, not being able to play, has that hindered you at all, or are you still sharp as ever?
I think in the long run it's not going to matter that much. Like, maybe in 2 or 3 weeks I should be back on shape, but definitely like right now I can feel that like I'm not as good as I was before going.
Now, Cake, before we let you go here, is there anything else that you want to say, or any shout-outs you want to give, or anything like that?
Or big fuck yous!
Yeah, let's do that one.
No, nothing special. Thanks for having me. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, it was our pleasure, man. Thanks
Yeah,
so
no, I
much for
appreciate
making time. Welcome back to Canada also.
Hey,
there
we
you
got
go.
him back. We got him back.
We got it back.
All right, man. Take care.
That's just it? You're just going to say take care? It's just,
That's how Canadians do it.
What? I've never. It's like, all right, we'll be out then.
Yeah.
Come on.
I said it was a pleasure having you. It was.
Okay, well, I mean, I put the purple screen up. Can you, like, officially say, like, the
you gonna
podcast
close
is
us out or
over?
what?
All right, guys. So much for the Score Esports podcast. Great,
So much for it.
So much. That's neat.
great conversation
So neat.
with Cake. We wish him all the best in his future endeavors, and I truly mean it when I hope
sounds
that
so
I say that everything works out for him for the best. Because, as Ryan pointed out, seems like he's got a good head on his shoulders. Until next time, for Ryan, for Kyle,
Don't
I'm
do it for
Colin.
me.
Saying GG.
He's such a swell guy.
I know.
Colin's such a swell guy.
I'm neat.